So, hello everyone, welcome to Exampur, and I hope you are doing well. So, please do join the session as fast as possible. And one request to you, please do share the session as much as possible. Divya, Rinki, a very good afternoon. I think Anil Gautam, a very good afternoon. एक्चुअली आज हुआ क्या कि आज अभी बारिश हुई थी यहाँ पर, तो थोड़ा बहुत गीला हो गए. आज लग भी होंगे बाल बाल गीला गीला. So, uh, yes. So today's topic is very important for your mains perspective because mains as well as the prelims perspective. Neha Sharma, very good afternoon. So the topic is right to be forgotten. What is right to be forgotten? Basically, this topic is comes under the polity section, polity, or we can say GS paper 2. So yes, Vivek, very good afternoon. So right to be forgotten. I think this topic we have not done this topic. I think so. Right to be forgotten. Yes, ultimately I have been discussed little bit in some section, but in comprehensively we didn't discuss this topic. Right to be forgotten. What is right to be forgotten? Okay. Nilofer Sheikh, very good afternoon. Alpna Singh. Okay. आज टी शर्ट भी गीला है. मतलब हाईवे से जब क्रॉस कर रहे थे, हाईवे में बारिश होना स्टार्ट हो गई, तो वहां से फिर गीला होते हमें लगा कि रुकने से अच्छा है कि रुकने से गीला होने से अच्छा है कि चलते हुए गीला हो जाए. तो फिर हमें लगा कि चलते हुए गीला होते हैं तो सूखने की जहाँ बात है तो पढ़ाते पढ़ाते सूख जाएंगे. Okay, so let's start this session. So today's topic, but in polity class, yes, but in polity class, I think in polity for 90 days crash course. So in that session, we have already done with the prelims perspective. We have not done with the mains perspective. So today we have to deal with this topic with the mains perspective. Okay. Aditi Raj, very good afternoon. Okay, so let's start this session. So today's topic is right to be forgotten. Okay. Right to be forgotten. So, yes, you are also present. So I've already wished to you good afternoon. Again, good afternoon. Okay. So, one thing, one question might be raised that what is the right to be forgotten? And Rupa Rani Rupa, good afternoon. So, one thing, maybe you might be thinking about that. So, sir, what is right to be forgotten, and what is the importance, and is there any provisions in our constitution for the regarding the right to be forgotten? All these facts and concepts we have to discuss in this particular session. Okay. So first, I would like to go through the briefly what we have to discuss in this particular session. So I just want to say first I have to deal with the basic concept of the right to be forgotten. What are the right to be forgotten? What are the basic provisions? What is the origin of the right to be forgotten? And which country who basically first implemented the or who gave the right to be forgotten to the citizen. Means first we have to deal with the basic concepts. Basic concept which basically helps to your prelims examination and clear your concept basic. Then uh, what are the in is any laws or provisions in India regarding the this right? I think this should be discussed in this particular basic section. Swami Shekhar, Jai Hind. So the basic and the next point that we have to deal in this particular issues and way forward. Issues and way forward. Okay, but I think the basic part is very important for your conceptual understanding. And the next part, that is the issues. What are the issues which is associated in this particular right, and what will be the way forward? Okay, so let's begin this session. And first we will deal with the basic part. So the basic part. So the basic part. Basics of right to be forgotten. RTBF, that is the right to be forgotten. So what about the basics? So first of let's take an example, and with the help of example I will just try to explain the concept of right to be forgotten. So Noora Khan, very good afternoon. So let's take an example. Suppose please listen carefully. I'm taking an example. Suppose a person is Mukesh. Okay, a person is Mukesh. Mukesh is committed some crime or offense. Okay, Mukesh is committed some crime and offenses. Gitanjali, very good afternoon. Some offenses. Okay, and after the police arrested him, after the couple of weeks, police come to the conclusion that the Mukesh is not a real culprit. Okay, Mukesh is not a real culprit. Okay, but initially police arrested him, tortured him, and just put into the jail for 2 weeks. And after the 2 weeks, police came to the conclusion that Mukesh is not a real culprit. And in that time, but in between 2 weeks, the journalists, the medias, and the other social medias, all the social media platforms raised this issue in our social media platform. Okay, but after 2 weeks, when the police came to the conclusion part that he is not a real culprit, what will happen after that? After, when the police came to the conclusion, he just released in from the jail. After that, the story is not here came to the end. Actually, the problem which is associated with the Mukesh, which is we considered it is to start in this phase, because the name, the fame, the character of the Mukesh, which is basically the very important value part of any individual or any person, that is basically eroded. So how the Mukesh, their values, their systems, their principles, their characters, again he had to means basically we can say what he had to done to gain some values. So Vicky Das, Roni Mohanty, very good afternoon. So the Mukesh, in that time, there is a very big dilemmas which Mukesh is facing right now, because yes, they I think we can say the 2 weeks, which is very crucial week for the Mukesh. But after 2 weeks, yes, definitely he released from the jail. But the name and the fame, which is basically eroded, that's the offense which is associated with this particular person, that is Mukesh. So this false offense which is blame to the Mukesh, which is basically a very big dilemma to the person, to the Mukesh. So here I just want to say that Mukesh, what will do Mukesh after the releasing from the jail? So just he can request to the authorities, judiciaries, the government. Mukesh should have one advocate. Yes, but what about the name or fame, the character of the Mukesh? Basically, suppose a person is not a real culprit, but his name was included in the some offense, but the character, but the natures, but the credibilities of that person, which is basically eroded. So what about this? So this is a very big concern. This is a very big concern. Suppose a person which is some clips, video clips, which is basically uploaded in the social media. Okay, and this clips was basically a doctrine clip. Doctrine clip, that means basically we can say the editing clips, means the some persons which just do some edit to some videos and just upload it to the social media. So doctrine videos, when it is uploaded in the social medias, and the police behalf of this doctrine videos arrested him, and when he just find out that yes, this person was not a real culprit, then what will happen? This is a very big issue. So to serve the interest of that particular person, like like a Mukesh, who basically facing some such kind of dilemmas. So for that person, for that interest, for that right, there is a new concept, not a new concept basically, but yes, in India we have a new concept, that is the right to be forgotten. Means any person which is after the after the conclusion time, when when the investigating officer find that yes, this is not a real culprit, he is not a offensive person, in that time he has to release as well as the uh, doctrine videos or any other evidences which proved that yes, this is basically proof that this person is a real culprit. We have to, or authority have to, remove from the social medias or any other platforms. So this is a right to be forgotten. Are you getting my point? Are you understanding? Are you understanding? If you didn't get my point, I will again repeat in different language. So first of all, do let me confirm. Is it clear? Is it clear? Yes. Okay. वाह, क्या बात है, क्लियर है? Yes, I think so. Make it more clear. Yes, Swami Shekhar. After some time, it will definitely it will make more clear from my side. Yes. So this is the basic part. But what is happened in today's era or in a couple of days before? So in today's time, Supreme Court recently announced or notified that a couple, that is a couple which is which have to release from the custodian or custody from the police custody. So that is the context, simple. Or basically the couple who raised their voice that yes, whatever the evidence which is submitted in the police stations or the any other platforms which have to be deleted from the any social medias or platforms. That is the another context. First, SC announced to release that couples, and these couples again filed the petition to the Supreme Court, please give me a right to be forgotten. Right to be forgotten in the sense of the couple wanted to remove or delete all the uh, documents, all the clips, all the files which is basically present in the any social media platforms. Okay, that is the context. Now, first thing, uh, RTBF, right to be forgotten. Now we come to the next point, that is where the RTBF was originated, where in which country this concept was originated. So that is a first question which can be right. So right to be forgotten, earlier it was known as a right to be oblivion. What is oblivion? This is another concept. So yes, I will definitely so yes, right to be oblivion. Right to be oblivion, which is basically originated in the France judiciary. So what is oblivion? Oblivion is basically which we have to understand that yes, when a person unconsciously पानी लेने आया पानी पानी वाला ठीक है पानी वाला प्लस स्टूडियो वाला ठीक है स्टूडियो जो मैनेज करता है मतलब जो लोग नंबरिंग करते हैं वो लोग यहाँ पर सेव है सो व्हाट इज राइट टू बी ऑब्लिवियन right to oblivion. Oblivion means basically Jeevan Kishan sir. Yes, Jawan Kishan. Okay. So right to be oblivion. Oblivion means when the person unconsciously first thing, conscious and unconscious. We have to make difference. What is conscious? Conscious means when you doing something with your intelligence, with your by using their common sense, but unconsciously, let's take an example. When you start learning to suppose bike or car or scooty, okay, then that time in initial phase for from 1 to 5 days or 1 week, you have to focus more and more to learn the scooty or whatever. So after the few couple of days or weeks, you are just when you are able to manage or control the scooty or motorcycle or car whatever, then that time you can just ride your bike and you can simultaneously you can talk to someone with your mobile phone. That is unconsciously. Okay, so unconsciously means basically when you can manage yourself without much efforts, without doing much efforts to yourself. Means in simple way, when you go to the market and return to your home, okay, then returning home, if you are talking to someone, if you are doing someone, if you are not in your conscious mind, definitely, and I believe you can reach to your home, because in that time unconscious mind is working from your side. What is this interpreted on RTBF? Yes. So Supreme Court has recently not this is not interpreted. Supreme Court recently was just said that yes, the couple has to be released right now. But the Supreme Court has a very landmark judgment, that is a Putta Swami judgment, which basically talks about the right to life, and the right to life which include the right to be forgotten or the right to be eraser, or eraser means eraser or right to forgotten. That is basically two are very similar terms. Erasure means whatever the documents, whatever the files, whatever the anything about yourself, the authorities or the judiciary or the social media platform or any other entities, they have to remove your uh, uh, identity proofs. So this is the main crux, right to forgotten. And this judgment came to the 2017 Puttaswamy case, or the right to life, which basically covers the right to privacy. And the right to privacy, which basically covers the right to be forgotten, is the very big and the chain types. Like suppose we have a Article 21, okay, that is the right to life and liberty or dignity. So right to life, this right to life, which basically this privacy which include in the right to life, and this privacy included in the Article 21 from the very landmark judgment of K.S. Puttaswamy judgment. Okay, K.S. Puttaswamy judgment. Puttaswamy judgment 2017. And the right to privacy which comes under Article 21, yes. And the right to privacy, this right to privacy includes the right to be forgotten. So right to be forgotten or right to be erased. Right to be erased. Okay. RTB, RTBF. That is basically same thing. So right to life include right to choice as well. And the right to choice as well. And this choice which is included in the right to life and dignity in the Menka Gandhi case of 1978. Okay. In the Menka Gandhi case. Case of 1978. Okay. So Article 21 of the fundamental rights, which is not a very brief that you can understand. This is very a comprehensive article, and this article basically, if I just start this article, if any session, I think this session I am able to take this particular article by 2 hours. 2 hours for a single articles. So yes, that is a very basic part. Oblivion, this is basically originated in the France nation. And when a person unconsciously do something or demand something or something activities which is unconsciously, that is the oblivion. Okay. And this oblivion, when the France this concept when come into the France, then after some time the European countries, still we have a 27 country. So 27 country means European countries accepted this one, and there is some regulation. There is some regulation, that is the there is some regulation regarding the General Data Protection Regulation. This is basically a general, I just write here, General Data Protection Regulation. And under this, the European country accepted the right to be oblivion, and right to be oblivion, which is basically linked to the right to be forgotten. Basically, these are same things. Okay, we cannot differentiate. But yes, this oblivion has a very narrow sense. But the right to be forgotten here include all the datas, all the identities. But in the right to be oblivion, there is a very narrow sense or narrow meaning. Okay. So these are the, yes, this data you can use, this point you can use when the question is asked for your mains examination, UPSC mains examination, about the right to forgotten. Yes, right to forgotten is very important topic, and maybe this time question may be asked directly or indirectly. So when the question is asked, yes, you have to mention some why the right to forgotten is important. Then you must have to substantiate it some regulations, some we can say laws, some act. So these are the European regulations. You can substantiate it that yes, we have some regulation regarding right to forwarding. And the France, which that is not important, but this is important for your mains examination. Okay. So this data is important. If you just simply mention right to Article 21, right to life and privacy, right to judgment of the case, let's put us on judgment. That is also a very important for your value addition. Oblivion and RTPF. Oblivion RTPF is basically same. Suppose let's take an example. One side we have a oblivion, okay, and the RTPF. Okay. So in the RTPF or in the oblivion, I just want to make difference with a single example. Okay. Suppose we have a suppose a person, that is a Mukesh. Okay, Mukesh is very popular person, so that's why I'm using his name. So Mukesh is a person, and Mukesh suppose committed some crime again. Okay, so when he committed some crime and police arrested him again, means same situation that I have just already deal with this. So when RTBF, when the Mukesh was the very central point or central core character in this oblivion, you know that what is RTBF, but in this oblivion, when the Mukesh demand, again please carefully listen to me, when the Mukesh demand to delete or erase my identity proof or whatever the video clips, documents, files, then in this oblivion, there is a one there is no any delete or erase provision. Means here is a erase provision. Okay, there is a provision like erase or delete, like delete. But in the oblivion, yes, the authorities or judiciary or whatever the institutions or social media, yes, they just saying that yes, now onwards we are not using your documents, your files in further, but we cannot delete. Means suppose I have suppose I applied some new post for any companies. Okay, and when when that company rejected to me my documents already submitted here, but those companies assure to me, yes, your profile, your documents we are not using, but we cannot throw out. Means what you can just guess. Means those companies who do not use your profile, who do not use your documents further, but yes, this is right, but this is also true, they can not throw out your documents or cannot give back to your documents. That is a very big issue. So here or in oblivion, there is no any delete provision. Though there is no any delete provision, there is the only provision of not using further your documents or any identities, documents or any file or anything. But here is not any delete provision. Are you getting my point? Yes. Means in the oblivion, the authorities want to keep their file documents with yourself, with himself, but they do not throw out, they do not give back to you. That is a very basic difference. There is a delete provision, there is not a delete provision. Okay, so that is a very big difference. I think, Somsekhar, are you getting my point? Now I think it is clear to all. Okay, so now move on the next, that is the This is all about the basic, but two things I just I think we have to complete. One thing, that is a personal data protection bill. What about the India? Is there any provisions regarding the RTBF? No, there is no any provisions. There is no any law. But there is no any law. But in the our fundamental rights, in our constitution, there is fundamental rights, and there is Article 21. Yes, there is a provisions regarding this, but there is no any specific laws or regulations regarding the RTBF. So there is a laws, not laws. There is a bill, but this bill was not passed. Still, this bill was pending. Personal data protection bill 2019. This bill is from the 2019. So PDPB, simple, personal data protection bill. What about this? So say one provision that is a very controversial provision, not very controversial provision. Basically, this is not a very complete bill or drafted. What are the loopholes? So the very important or the very big or major loopholes that is basically dealt with here means there is a provision. If someone requested to the government, yes, or the government or social medias or like anything, yes, my some identity proofs are there in some social medias, and the government must have to take action, or the government must have to compliance some other social media platform. Yes, you have to delete some particular their his or her identities. There is no any provision. There is no any delete provisions. So there is a provisions like not using further any documents from to for any persons for his or him. So there is a no any provisions. So that's why this bill was failed. But yes, there is some government steps regarding with the name of the personal data protection bill. But there is no any right now we have not any act or laws or regulations. Yes, we have some bill, but it is not passed further. Second one is that is a this is not a law, but this is there is some provision regarding the RTBF for the international information technology rules 2011. IT rules 2011. So information technology rules 2011. Here is a provision that yes, if someone demand for any information which basically violate some other privacy. Suppose Mukesh has some privacy, and you already know about that. There is the RTR. If you just want to know something, you have to file some information or to the government, and you can get something information. So in IT rules 2011, there is a provisions, but there is a provisions regarding the if you just want to get some information from the government side. Yes, what about this something case, something Mukesh case? Let's take example. So the government here not will give the information regarding the Mukesh. That is a very big thing, which is basically one very big thing or important thing which is associated with this IT rules 2011. Yes, there is no any specific laws or regulation, but yes, there are some provisions in various laws and acts. In IT rules, there is some provisions. In our constitution, there is some provision in terms of Article 21, right to privacy and right to be forgotten. Yes. So this statement maybe the prelims examiner can use. There is some regulation regarding the RTBF. Maybe some type of sentence may be asked, because if you went through the previous question, yes, definitely some kind of a statement might be asked in your prelims examination. Okay, so there is no any specific laws, but yes, there is a regulations regarding tits and bits. Tits bits means in some format that you indirectly in our constitutions and in form of IT rules. That's it. That is IT rules, which basically something in some way basically talks about the protection of or the right to be forgotten, okay, or right to be erased. That is the two. These two is very very important for your mains as well as the prelims perspective. Okay. Now move on the next. Yes, I just want to uh, discuss one thing. That is what about the case Puttaswamy case? In Puttaswamy case, the judgment clearly came out that yes, the right to be forgotten is a part of the right to privacy, and right to privacy is part of the right to be right to life. Okay, so right to be forgotten here, here some restriction, here some reasonable restriction. Means one statement again may be asked in your prelims that yes, the right to be forgotten is absolute right, or there is some reasonable restriction. So yes, this is not an absolute right. There are some reasonable restriction which is associated with the right to be forgotten. Means one point that is very very important. I just want to write here. Means not absolute, and there is some reasonable restriction. Which kind of restrictions are there? So restrictions like suppose we have a freedom of speech and expression, that is Article 19, Section 1 or Clause 1, Clause 1A, Clause 1A. That is a right to freedom of speech and expression. But there are again restriction in Article 19, Section 2, Clause 2. But there are reasonable restriction. So right to be forgotten, Supreme Court upheld this one and said that yes, right to be forgotten is not a very absolute right. There are some reasonable restrictions. There is the Article 19.1 or 19.2. Supreme Court also referred the Article 19.2 for the same article, that is the same right, that is right to be forgotten. So 19.2, Article 19.2 is also applicable for the right to be forgotten. On Article 19.2, which basically talks about the reasonable restriction for your Article 19.1A, B, C, D, E, not F, G. Okay. So this is the all about. Now, move on the next. That is the what are the issues associated. Okay. What are the issues? So, are you getting my point? Still, if you have any doubt, please do let me know. If yes, have you any doubt? Have you any doubt till now? So, okay, clear. Now move on the next. That is issues. What are the issues which is basically associated with this issues? Now, this dimension, this point, which basically we can use in our mains examination, because issues, way forward, challenges, that is basically part of your mains examination. Okay, so in the mains examination, yes, one thing I just want to tell you, कुछ चीजें समझाना चाहते हैं हिंदी से, ठीक है? होता क्या है कि जैसे कोई भी कॉन्सेप्ट होता है ना, कॉन्सेप्ट में आप जैसे आपने उसको अगर एक बार समझ लिया ना, तो उसके बाद होता क्या ना कि आपको लिखने में या कुछ उसको जैसे एक्सप्रेस करने में दिक्कत नहीं होती है ना? यस। तो ये जैसे कॉन्सेप्ट था, ठीक है। अब हमने यहाँ पे जितना चीज देखा अभी तक, जितना भी चीज है, तो ये पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट है। अब ये जब समझ में आ जाता है ना, तो अपने आप हम जो बोलना चाह रहे हैं, ये समझ में आ जाएगा क्या बोलना चाह रहे हैं। तो जो चीजें हम बोलना चाह रहे हैं ना, कि अगर आपको समझ में आ गया चीजें, तो उसके बाद ना आप सोच सकते हैं कि यस, हमारे पास ये पॉइंट बन सकता है, इसके लिए क्या इश्यूज हो सकते हैं, ये अगर इस तरीके का है तो इसमें क्या क्या समस्या आ सकती है। जैसे आप कुछ खरीदते हैं, सपोज कीजिए कि आपने एक मोबाइल खरीदा, सपोज कीजिए मोबाइल खरीदा, तो आपको मालूम है कि मोबाइल में खराबी आ सकती है। कैसी खराबी आएगी ये आपको भी मालूम है। आप चार्ज करेंगे उसको, चार्ज में 2 घंटे चला के उसको छोड़ दिए, ठीक है, 24 घंटे आप मोबाइल को चला रहे हैं, ठीक है, तो कहीं के आपको मोबाइल भी कहीं के हो सकता है कि डैमेज हो सकता है। तो आपको इतना मालूम है। तो हम ये कहना चाह रहे हैं कि अगर आपको समझ में आती चीजें, जब समझते हैं चीजें, तो आपको आराम से, आसानी से जो इसके डायमेंशन जो बनने चाहिए वो आपको एक मतलब दिमाग में क्लिक करना स्टार्ट हो जाता है, ठीक है। तो हमें लगा कि इसको हिंदी से बोल देते हैं, क्योंकि हिंदी में भी समझना थोड़ा सा दिक्कत था मेरे ख्याल से, तो हमें लगा कि हिंदी से बोलते हैं, ठीक है। ओके फाइन, now move on the next, that is the issues part. What are the issues for the right to be forgotten? So the government has, first of all, there are so many data, so there are so many scattered data. Because right to be forgotten, the government can only ensure in that time when the government have a single storage data. Means government have scattered data in the form of, there are some datas in different platforms, there are some datas in different platforms, in the private platforms, in the, suppose I just registered myself with uh, the government any policies or schemes, and again I registered myself with the private entity, private player, again I registered myself with some social media platforms. That is, my data has totally scattered. Okay, so that is a scattered data which basically may create hurdle for the government to manage to formulate the laws for the right to forgotten. So the one keyword, that is scattered data. One, if you just make notes, just write down keywords. If you write only keywords, then definitely you can make some sentence, some short sentence, some maybe big sentence, but you need only short sentence because you have to crack UPSC. So you have definitely, if you have a scattered data, that is a keywords. On this keywords you have to, I just want to write here, that is scattered data. If you want to substantiate with this point, you can substantiate, yes, we have a different data in various platforms, in government, in public platforms, private platforms. Suppose you registered yourself with Exampur official app. Okay, so in the Exampur official app, your data is stored in our Exampur application. So one member then will call you and some get to know from your side. That is a data. That is the importance of data. So when you register yourself with some different platform applications, again your data is stored in that particular application. So, and there is no any a single holding data. They just scattered in form. So scattered data, that is a very big issue for the government as well as the any private player. Okay, so one thing. Second thing, yes, success rate of curbing. What curbing? Curbing the suppose, let's take an example. We have mm, Suppose there are multiple cases like Mukesh. Okay, there are multiple cases like Mukesh, what you have discussed earlier. So there are multiple cases, and when there are multiple cases, there is issues regarding the implementation. What is the implementation? Means yes, we have right to be forgotten, and we are using our the Article 21, and we can approach to the Supreme Court, High Court from our from the Article 21 is concerned. Okay, dangerous boy. Yes, very good afternoon. So, what about this? If the government have a scattered data, and if the government have multiple datas, if the government have multiple cases, that is multiple datas. Okay, so the if the government has a multiple cases, the government may face some hurdles to tackle to curb uh, the cases regarding the right to be forgotten. Because suppose one person demanded the right to forgotten, the government, if there are multiple cases, the government can face in that situation to curb this rate. So yes. Scattered data, that is something. Yes, very right. Okay. So success rate, that is also very important, because suppose government decided that yes, right now we have we are going to formulate some laws and regulations regarding that right to forgotten. And what about the success rate? Is the government uh, able to tackle the cases regarding the RTPF or not? Or if the success rate is in the up to the mark or not? That is a very big issue. So I just want to here write in keywords, that is a success rate. Success rate, that is a very big issue. That is very low. Okay, success rate is very low. Okay. Now move on the next point. That is a suppose government have policies, government have regulations, government have laws regarding the deletion of the particular data. But maybe the re-emergence can be happen. What about the re-emergence? Re-emergence of the issues. Re-emergence of, suppose Mukesh have some cases, and again Mukesh, when just he have to when he has released from the jail, again might be some other authorities, some other police stations may raise again, re-emerge their cases. That can be a very big issue. So re-emergence, that is a very big issues for the right to be forgotten, because there is no proper data. Yes, if we have a personal data protection bill, and this bill, when it becomes an act, and there is some modification with respect to the uh, storage of the data or the deletion of the data. Deletion, if there is a provision regarding deletion of the data, yes, definitely this act, when this bill become an act, this act will be very, very useful, very, very effective for the citizens to solve the cases regarding the right to forwarding. So yes, third point, we have a issue regarding the re-emergence. What is re-emergence of the case, re-emergence of the issues? Okay, what the Mukesh is facing. Okay. Now again, if there is issues right to forgotten, this again we have Article 19(1), but this is a very simple point. Next point is suppose a social media platform, a Facebook. You have a Facebook account. I think you all have a Facebook account. I think so. Still, except me. So when you registered yourself in the Facebook, and some very short range crime or offense happen in the social media. Suppose, okay. So in that time, what will happen? Government can notify to the social medias, whatever it is. Is it Facebook? Is it WhatsApp? You might have heard about the cases regarding the WhatsApp, okay? Because the WhatsApp have some issues regarding the forwarding the message to multiple persons. That is a very big issue, and the government once tried to tackle the social medias with respect to the forwarding messages or text. So suppose Facebook, we have you have some registered account, and the government just forcing to the social media, yes, you have to erase or delete that some particular post or some image or some GIFs or some videos. In that time, Facebook can reply that yes, you cannot force to me, because we have some fundamental rights. We have some fundamental rights to express myself, to have some ownership regarding the control or monitor the Facebook. So maybe there is some issues regarding the impositions, forcefully impositions from the government side to the Facebook, or maybe there is some concerns regarding the monitoring from the government side to the social medias. So there are some monitoring and there are some forceful impositions issues are there, can be there, okay. Means there is monitoring issue from the government side, or there is forcefully imposition, okay. That is the next point. And the last one is the conflict between the public interest and the right to be forgotten. So the what about the public interest? Public interest, which basically means suppose let's take an example of myself. There is a Mukesh committed some crime, same example, okay. But I am very well educated person, okay, and I just raise Mukesh concern to the judiciary, okay, or because I just want, you have already heard about the PIL, public interest litigation, which basically filed by the third person. Third person means some person committed crime, okay. So one is culprit, one is victim, and third one is, that is a petition, means applied to the petition. That is third person. And when third person approach to the judiciary for concerning to the culprit person, in that time, this is known as a PIL, that is a public interest litigation, okay. Force imposition of WhatsApp, force imposition for monitoring, controlling the social medias. Government in previously we have already heard about the government just wanted to control the WhatsApp social medias or the Facebook. You have already heard about same situation, that is what is all about. That is the forcefully imposition. Government tried to forcefully imposition from for the rules to the social medias, different social medias. That is a forcefully imposition, okay. So the next point, that is a public interest versus the RTBF. There is a public interest. Suppose any person, a person which who is not aware. Suppose Mukesh is not a victim, real victim, near a real culprit, but a third person who assume that yes, Mukesh is a real culprit, and he just filed the petition to the Supreme Court judiciary. That is the public interest. Or it may be just opposite. Yes, he is a real culprit, but but the third person filed the petition in the Supreme Court or High Court for the force approach. So in that time, what will happen? Yes, there is a conflict between the public interest or the right to be forgotten. The victim person or the culprit person, they just applying for to Supreme Court the right to forgotten, and the third person which apply for the PIL, public interest litigation. Maybe there is a conflict between the RTBF and the public interest. So there may be RTBF versus the public interest. There is some conflict. Okay. So these are the 5 points. So what about the way forward? So I just briefly explain the what about the way forward, what may be way forward. So the first is we have to balancing right of privacy and the right of privacy or the freedom of speech and expression. First thing. Second one is the data protection bill, which can be modified, and after the modification, the government, the parliament can pass through the Lok Sabha and Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and ultimately it became an act after the president assent. Okay. So some modifications need for the personal data protection bill. Some modification. Suppose Google search. Okay, there is Google search tools are there. Suppose if you search anything, the Google store some particular. Suppose you search in the Google or YouTube. Suppose SANJEEV Naik sir. Okay, this data Google store in their system. But when you erase this one from your side, yes, definitely in that time it will be erased. But from the system, but from the Google side, it is already stored further and further. So I just want to make clear that yes, the Google is a very big search engine. So there is some modifications in terms of search engine. Yes, the consumer or the customer or the customer as me and you, so have a right to delete or erase permanently the data, the previous data, the history data, which is basically they are using. So yes, there are some modifications. I'm just telling you, there's some modification. That is the third point. Last point, that is a government must need to bring some framework regarding the right to be forgotten. Okay, that is a framework, that is a way forward, and that is the last point. So these are 4 points, and one again you can make this. There is some balance between RTBF and the PI, some healthy balance between the RTBF and PI. That is the last point. So these are the all about the right to be forgotten. So yes, have you any doubt? So if you have any doubt, please do let me know. If any doubt, or if it is clear, then after 2 minutes we will meet in the next session, that is the writing practice session. So don't go here and there, just jump into the next session. And I have a very good question for the next session. Okay. क्लियर हुआ? चलिए, तो क्लियर है तो हम मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट क्लास में, है ना? चलिए, थैंक यू सो मच.